So I love my Rock and Ruff Roundtable feature because not only do I not have to worry that I'm like Zooming with a rock star and Rosie's going to invade the Zoom and be a bad girl, because I know that all of my animal people will understand. And especially our veterinary friends. Dr. Sathish is here from Longevity Veterinary Center on Route 10 in Whippany. It's right on the eastbound side. Dr. Rohini Sathish, correct?
Yes, that's perfect. You got my name
Yay. Yeah,
correct.
you're such a fascinating lady. And I love to have people who I think can bring so much to the table for all of us who love our animals so much. And I wanted to talk about your background. You specialize in veterinary surgery, also in holistic medicine. You are an author. We're going to talk about your book in just a couple of minutes. But talk to me about your background, over 20 years experience. You've also been a practicing vet in the UK, in the United Kingdom, and in India, where you are from. What is the difference in veterinary services and care in such different parts of the world compared to here, doctor?
The common ground is everybody loves animals. So, and England is, as you know, a very big pet loving nation. So they are huge pet lovers. So when I moved to the US, I was pleasantly surprised because you're even more of a pet loving nation. So that way, it wasn't a big difference. In India, things were different because the focus is slightly different. There's more, a lot of cattle and wildlife, stuff like that. And originally, before I moved to England, I wanted to be a wildlife veterinarian. So I won a scholarship to study in England, and I studied wildlife management in Reading University. And when I was in India, my work was more with pets, but I used to go to schools and teach children about animal welfare and taking care of animals. So I went to I think I must have taught about 60,000 school kids in about 3
Wow.
years because I was pregnant with my daughter then. And because India is not rabies free, my in-laws didn't want me to go in the line of risk. So I decided to do this. So I would go to a different school every single day and teach children about animal handling, animal welfare, and how to deal with their pets, stuff like that. So it was fascinating. Um, as far as people go, they are very similar. They all care about their pets and they want the best for their pet. But what has changed in the last, I would say, 10 years is the whole holistic thing. It's like a huge revolution. Nobody is now satisfied with just, the usual vet visit, shots or vaccines, as you call them, and then, some prescription food and it's done. People are very proactive. A lot of it is,
Yes, yes.
yes, they want the best for their pet. They research everything. So they want the best holistic care. And that's what I think is the biggest change, I would say, in the last few years. And when I was in England, I lost my cat to pancreatic cancer. And that's when the whole holistic thing came open for me because I got in touch with Elizabeth Wider, the co-author of my book. And she was an international animal healer. And she would go to Japan and talk to turtles and tortoises in people's houses. And I got fascinated and we became friends. She helped with my cat before she passed. And then the book came about and I trained in animal healing with her. Then it was just like, one thing after another. So I trained in acupuncture, then I trained in Chinese herbs, and I trained in Western herbs with her. And then, I was always a surgeon. So that's always been part. So I like to call myself as a integrative or a complete veterinarian because I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
best of both worlds,
I think too, preventing, and I think people are becoming more conscious of preventing issues before they start.
Correct.
If there's something that we can do to prevent something before it occurs, and that's where you guys come in, and there are not that many holistic veterinary hospitals out there that also offer that knowledge, that power, and that expertise to help our pets in this different kind of way. We're all sort of navigating that together, I think, as animal lovers.
Yes, yes, yes. See, preventative medicine, once upon a time, would just involve flea and tick prevention, would involve vaccines. But now, a lot of it is to do with food, with supplements, okay? It's gone the same way with humans as well. So a lot of what we do in longevity is preventative medicine, but in a holistic way. So we don't overdo vaccinations. We do titer testing. So after the first, let's say you take rabies, for example, we do the first shot, we do the second shot, and then we do a titer test. Once the titer test tells us there's enough antibodies to rabies, we do not vaccinate. We can say that, okay, there are enough antibodies to mount an immune response if you're exposed to rabies. So we are able to waive the vaccine. So again, with distemper parvo, we don't just give shots. We do the first course, then we do the annual booster, and then again, we titer test. So these
Yes.
are some things that not many veterinarians offer, which we do at Longevity. The other thing we do that I think is very different in Longevity is we offer things like ozone therapy, biophotonic, we call it biophotonic therapy, because ozone therapy can help, especially with long-term chronic diseases, with cancer, with Lyme disease, with things like that. So while we were talking about preventative, I was thinking about yesterday, what is the one thing I would really like to reiterate today? And that is, please prevent tick-borne diseases. I see so much Lyme disease, so much anaplasma. These are easily preventable. Yes, I'm not talking about applying flea and tick prevention in the form of chemicals. There's a lot of natural stuff around. Dr. B here has his own Pet Peeve Plus, which is based on essential oil.
I love that. I love that. The one thing that I should have done when Dr. B gave it to me for Rosie, and Rosie's all taken care of, and I love, love that. And she's never, knock wood, had any tick bites or anything. I had never had a tick bite until this summer.
Oh, you got bitten.
And didn't know it because it was in my crazy big New Jersey hair and in my head until I started getting very not feeling well. And people were saying, did you get it from Rosie? We went through Rosie with a fine-tooth comb. She had Dr. B's spray, and Dr. B had told me you can put it all over yourself. And I had done it on my legs and stuff, but this guy got in my head. So you are so correct. These things can be, I didn't know. And now, of course, I was so much more cognizant of it all summer, but prevented. You just have to take those right steps.
Tip as far as ticks go. I mean, fleas, it's a different story. You can always, use that spray. You can also use something called Buck Mountain's parasite dust, which we put on the back. And there's natural flea collars and stuff. But with tick disease, you just need a brush. So your dog's been out, is about to come back in after a walk, going into the bushes. Just brush them from top to bottom, check behind the ears, check between the feet, all the places you're most likely to miss, because it's simple. If you can prevent the tick from staying on your dog's body for 48 hours, if you catch it before the 48 hours, you can prevent Lyme disease. Because usually how it injects the organism, like Borrelia burgdorferi or the anaplasma organism, is when it comes off the body. So it's bitten you, and it's engorged and it's trying to come off. That's when it injects the organism. So if you catch it before that stage of engorgement and let the tick fall off, within the 24 to 48 hour window, you might prevent it. So I have a brush right outside my back door, and my husband's diligent. The moment the dog's about to come in, he'll brush him from top to bottom. And you can prevent a lot of tick disease just by that. So I say the combination of using Dr. B's Pet Peeve Plus and brushing your dog before he or she comes back in, you can literally save your dog's life. Because once you get Lyme disease, it's not nice, majority of the dogs do well, but here we do the test. We also don't just treat with antibiotics straight away, because the usual treatment is just doxycycline. But what we do is we do a test called Quant C6. So it tells us the titer. So we know that, is this just exposure, or does the dog actually have disease? And then we treat based on the titer. So everything we do now is based on evidence-based medicine. So we see the evidence, we treat. We don't unnecessarily do anything, over vaccination or over antibiotic therapy or anything like that. And even after your dog's disease has been identified as Lyme or anaplasma, we actually do the ozone therapy 1 a week for 3 weeks, and we can actually get rid of the biofilm, which is amazing.
Well, and I think the thing that you've said that has really struck me also is every case is not treated the same. There's not just a textbook. Look, for me, it was like a course of doxycycline. You got to go back for another test, but every animal is treated very differently. You also mentioned how you went out and you spoke to children. You are very involved in animal welfare. That's a big part of who you are and what you do. So talk to me a little bit about that aspect of your career as a veterinary professional.
So, when I started off, I went to regular vet school, but the motivation behind it was always that I should be the voice of the voiceless. So to me, being a veterinary doctor is a vocation. It's not a business. So I've always believed that I should do my very best, be an authentic, integrative veterinarian with integrity. Okay. Put it like that.
Like
So
that.
I would go to the schools, and a lot of times kids are not brought up to like animals. So they're scared, or it all depends on the family you were brought in. And then I used to go to the schools, show them interesting facts about animals, actually tell them some things that they can never forget, like how, what turtles do, how long they live, simple facts that make them want to listen to me. They would love my classes so much that they would say, when is she coming? When is that teacher coming? Because it used to be a fun. Sometimes I'd take pets with me. It's like a lot of what happens in schools here. So this sort of humanitarian education, that's why my Twitter title is Humane Vet, because I'm trying to make the people more humane, because people who love animals are good people in general, and the people I've seen here, they literally adore their animals. That was the other thing I wanted to tell you, is that the biggest difference I find from different countries is that how they deal with senior pets, like in India, euthanasia is still a very big no-no. So they don't put their animals down. They expect them to die naturally. Things are changing, but when I started there about 30 years ago, it was not done, So I had never euthanized a pet until I moved to England. That was the big shock to me. And when I first started, it was funny. I used to, every time I euthanized a pet, I would give £1 to God to say, I'm sorry, because that
Oh,
was my upbringing and my culture. Then it got so much, I started getting a bit bankrupt. I had to do so much. They just said, well, it's not going to work.
right. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because there were two types of people. One who would put an animal down because they can't bear to see them suffer,
Right.
Another group who would drag it on too late to the point that this animal should have been put down. So one of the things
That's the worst part. I think that is something that everyone, that
yes,
is the battle royale, because you always feel like just when you know it's time, they rally, whether it's for a day or for a few hours or for a few moments. And then you have to rewind back again and say, am I making the right decision? Let me wait longer. So that is an unbelievable point. Um, so
yeah.
when did you know, especially from going from someone, as someone who didn't do it at all to now this is part of what the profession is in a
One
way. When do you know? When do you?
Yeah, so that's where I feel very blessed that I trained in animal communication. So when I learned with Liz, what I learned with Liz and what we wrote in my book, You Can Heal Your Pet, one of the last chapter is about how to let go and
Yeah.
when And a lot of our students, when I was training, would be trained in this end of life kind of palliative kind of thing. And the healers would go to the house and hold the hand of the owner to help them let go. So when I do my euthanasia, it's done in a very beautiful way. And that's why we have organizations like Lap of Love, you might have heard, which
I
are
have.
with end of life. So I usually, if it's an animal that I've been dealing with for a long time, I know usually. And I will also then ask them the question when I do a communication session. I can zone in, communicate, and ask them. And most of the time they say, I am ready, but she's not ready.
Yeah.
They usually say that she needs me. And there are so many times when I've said to the owner that the pet is not ready to transition. They have got unfulfilled purpose here on earth.
Wow.
And
Wow.
people find it as a blessing, because then they don't feel guilty,
Yeah.
that they let them go too quickly or too late.
Yeah. There are many, I'm glad you brought this up as the final part of the book too, because the book is divided into major parts. I think it's like 4 major parts. I picked up when I was at Longevity and we did an appearance there. I got the book when I was there. I guess it was a year
Good.
ago, maybe a little bit longer, and you
Right,
were
right.
there and you had the book there. And I got the book. Um, there's all kinds of healing, dietary things. Talk to me about why, and it's very simple to read. It's in very much layman's terms. You open it up, you read it, you can, you
See,
know,
the
you're not
biggest
talking like a doctor that people cannot understand.
Yeah. And the thing is, when we wrote the book, we wanted it to be like a reference manual so that if they say, oh, my dog's got anal gland issues, what do I do about it that I can do at home? And all they have to do is go and look at the anal gland chapter, and it's all there. What the vet does, what the problem is, and what you can do yourself at home. And then it tells you simple recipes or simple essential oils. It tells you about herbs, anything that you can do at home that before you can get to the vet. So that's why we called it You Can Heal Your Pet. Because this is something I strongly believe in. I, as a doctor or a healer, I like a channel. I can help you, but a lot of the healing comes from you because the bond you have with your pet is very unique. It's very strong. So me empowering you, the pet guardian, is the most important thing. And that's all, a lot of my consultation is about that. I empower you, the pet guardian, to help your pet the best way you can. Because when you have love, that kind of strong love, things happen much faster and in a much more better way. So when we wrote the book, we divided into chapters, one about the food, because we believe food is medicine, then about all the therapies that you can have, like acupressure, because acupressure you can do at home, whereas acupuncture, I have to do it. Acupuncture is very effective. So yes, if you're not sure, feel free, depending on the type of person you are. If you're like, I am going to do it myself. I want to make my own recipe. I want to make my own food. There's options there for you. But if you'd rather, I want to go to an authentic integrative veterinarian and get it done, we are here for you. So come over and we can do that. And then we wrote the chapter on energy healing, and there's hand positions. So it teaches you how you can do energy healing on your own. So a lot of it is like a DIY. It's like a DIY manual. A lot of stuff you can do yourself. And then we have the last chapter, which tells you about letting go, like we were just talking about. So I always tell people, just because your pet is a certain age, don't give up on them. It's just a number. Each, for a 10-year-old German Shepherd is different to a 10-year-old poodle. A German Shepherd, for a German Shepherd, 10 years is old. For a poodle, it's not. They can live to 18. So don't give up on your pet because of age, just like we don't give up on ourselves, right? So come and see what's available. And there's so much we can do. I've had pets that were given 2 weeks to live, and I gave them 2 years, right? And these are dogs that have been diagnosed with terminal cancer or with, many other conditions which they say we can't do anything about. I recently operated on a dog that was 17 years old with a mammary tumor. And most people have said, oh, we're not going to touch this pet because it's 17.
17, yeah.
But if its blood work is fine, kidneys, liver, heart, everything is fine, they are as good as a 10-year-old. So and if it hasn't spread to the chest, you should do it. I don't do things if I don't think the animal is going to make it. I always give them an honest opinion. And in this case, I said, look, you're willing to put in the time, the effort, the money. I'm willing to make sure, because anesthesia now is so advanced. We don't lose pets under anesthesia. You have to be, we are very careful. We have all the best anesthesia. So we did it, and the pet's doing fine. So what I'm trying to say is, it's personalized medicine. Like you said in the very beginning, there's no single shoe that fits all. Each pet is different. So don't just write off a pet because it's too old, and don't be shocked if your 5-year-old is very sick, because it can happen both ways, So I always have felt that some pets are, owners give up too soon on their pets. And I tell those people, don't do that, because your animal has a sole purpose. It's there for a reason. Let them complete that sole purpose. Don't arrest it, and let them go too soon.
I love that. And I think that that gives so much hope to people who have been hopeless. You know, I've certainly been hopeless with pets. Rosie is 8. And now I'm starting to panic because I'm like, she's 8 and I feel like I just got her. And oh my gosh, and how is this happening? And I love that you
You
said,
just got her?
well, no, I feel like I do, but I don't. She's been with me 8 years, but she's my soul dog. I need her. I want her. She's my little soul dog. So she's looking at me right now, right, Rose? Right? Right? She's like, yes, mommy. But I love that. I love that. And you know, it's so funny because I got the tips from your book on like the acupressure thing. So a lot of times in the morning when I get up to her, I always go, Rosie, mommy do massagey. Let's do massage. She's looking at me right now, literally. And I do massagey and I do the little acupressure things that I think are going to make her feel good. I want to let everybody know too, getting the book is easy. Now, if you're here in New Jersey and you'd like to just get it very quickly, hold it up again. You Can Heal Your Pet, The Practical Guide to Holistic Health and Veterinary Care. You can pick it up right at Longevity because you guys do sell the book there, 265 Route 10 East in Whippany. It's also available, by the way, if those of you are watching from out of state, because we have a lot of people who are watching our videos from out of state and everything. You can just go right on Amazon and grab your copy. It's a wonderful, wonderful guide to I don't like to call it ownership, to, you know, to living with our best furry friends and family members, you know, as one big happy pack. Now, Dr. Sathish, if people want to make an appointment with you or come to Longevity, you can read all about Dr. Sathish also on the Longevity website. You can get her whole bio and everything, but what are your hours there? What is the best way to make an appointment for people to bring their pets in to visit with you?
So right now at Longevity, I'm there 3 days a week. So I'm here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Okay.
And on Tuesdays, I stay up till 8:30. So I start 10:30 and finish till 8:30. That's my surgery day in the morning, but I'm there till 8:30 because I know some clients need that extra time to come later on in the evening. And the other 2 days, I have my own little clinic up down south because that's where I originally started, and that was my first clinic. But then I moved north with my husband's job, and now it's too far to go there. But I still go there once a week because they will only see me; they won't see anybody else.
You
So
don't want to leave your patients. It's a very personal thing
yes,
when
and
you
I care
bring your
about them.
animal somewhere and people want to talk to you and you know the history of all your patients. So I think that's so incredible and so
So I
righteous
drive
where
two
you said,
hours
yeah, I'm here now, but I'm also going to come down and spend time with all of you that I have this amazing history with. I get it.
So every Friday I go there. So I'm there in near Hamilton, near Princeton. So I go there at the Bag of Bones Bakery. And on Wednesdays, it's my surgery day. So I'm there doing surgery all day at Wayne Valley Animal Hospital because to help, to be there at another hospital where they need a surgeon. Because right now there's a huge DBM shortage and a surgeon shortage. And the more you can do to be there to help animals. And like I had a case where this poor dog had been kicked so bad that its bladder burst. And they were in a right state because nobody would own up or whatever happened. I can't go into details, but and they, the specialist wanted like $10,000, $15,000. The woman didn't have any money. So I said, okay, we'll do it for a very minimal cost because this 2-year-old dog doesn't deserve to die. So I took the dog in and literally reconstructed the whole bladder. The dog's
Ugh.
doing well. And, that is the reason I became a doctor or a veterinarian or a veterinary surgeon, to save lives. And it gives me so much satisfaction that I'm able to do it. So that's why. So I do surgery there once a week. I do here surgery once a week. In my clinic, I don't do surgeries. It's more like a counseling session because my love is the human animal bond. And that's why I said you can heal your pet, because it's that bond that makes animals thrive or not thrive.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to take responsibility. I tell, when I do communications, half the time the problem is with the owner. So when I figure that out and I tell them, do this, do that, things change. I'll give you a simple example. I had a cat that once was brought in to me, and it had pulled out all its fur and it looked completely bald. And this girl, the girl who brought it to me was telling me, I don't know how to fix this. We've tried steroids, we've tried everything. Can you please do a communication? So I said, okay, fine, let's do a communication. I went to do a healing. And the cat said, it's because she does it. It's because she does it. I'm going, my God, this woman's got a full head of hair and her mom's there. Then it suddenly hit me. I said to her, show me your hands. She showed me. I said, you're self-harming, aren't you? The girl burst into tears. The mother burst into tears. That girl had been cutting herself because that cat was a gift from her father. And the father had died. And she was so depressed that she used to have the cat in the room and cut herself. She was
Wow.
self-harming. So the cat watched it and pulled out its own hair because he was copying her. He was her mirror animal. So all I told her was, listen, I want you to go get help and stop hurting yourself, and your cat will automatically recover. That's all that happened. I never had to treat the cat. I told them,
Wow.
you don't need to do this for this lady, for your owner, because you love her so much. I said, she's going to be okay. And I made her tell the cat every single day how much she loved the cat and how much he doesn't have to take her pain. And they're fine. She
I
got
don't
help.
think we sometimes realize how intuitive our animals are.
They
I
are
see it with Rosie. Rosie's a very
brilliant.
sensitive animal. If I get upset, Rosie's upset. And I can
Yes,
see the look in her on her face. So I have learned to be a calmer person because I don't, not for me, not for my sanity, but I don't want to upset Rosie. So I always say, like, don't upset Rosie. You know, that's the whole goal of the house, is not to upset Rosie, because the home revolves
that's
around
so
Rosie, but
beautiful.
it makes us better people. I really, really believe that it makes us better people.
When you channel them, a lot of times they tell us their sole purpose is to help you heal. So when they see you upset, they get upset. So it's like, their husband will say, when I'm there, she's fine, but why is she like this when she's with my wife? Because there's an issue there. They are like, they have sixth sense. They are very intuitive. They can pick up on your fear. They can pick up on your hate. They can pick up on every one of your emotions, majority of them. And usually they'll pick one person to cling to, and that bond is very strong. Just like you can heal your pet, you can also be responsible for their problems. So I have to, it's most of it is like a counseling session. So I usually find out things, stuff, and say to them, you know what, do this, do that. Your pet's going to be okay.
I
And it
love
was
it. I love
majority
it.
of the time.
Dr. Satish, I've had so much fun chatting with you, and I've learned so much. Will you come back and we do like a part two, like in a month or two? I
Definitely.
would love to catch up with you again. I think we need more Dr. Satishes in the world who are thinking of not only getting into the body, but also getting into the mind. And you can find Dr. Satish at Longevity Veterinary Center. And of course, please pick up her book, You Can Heal Your Pet, The Practical Guide to Holistic Health and Veterinary Care. It is really amazing, and it certainly has helped me. And it's been so nice. I hope I get to see you in person again soon. And
Definitely.
I cannot thank you enough for joining me. It's been so informative, and we have so many amazing animal maniacs that listen to WDHA and that watch our videos. So you have been just a little slice of pet heaven. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be on your show and hope to see you soon.